Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the EOM Coach Conversations. And today I'm just so stoked because here with me is Rebecca Liddon. She is my coach, the coach for coaches, and she is like the gold standard when it comes to the world of parenting, nervous system science, attachment science, all things nerdy. But we're going to try to keep it simple so that you can understand what it has to do with your lives today. Quick introduction: Rebecca is the director for training at the Jaya Institute for Parenting. She's a mother of two. She's been involved with the world of teaching for the last 7 years, but she's been working with children and teaching for the last 20 years. So she has all that experience and she brings that all to this world of coaching, and today she's here with me, which is an utter honor. Rebecca, I am just going to be like one of those disciples who sits back and lets the teacher do the talking. Usually I do a lot of talking, but today I want to hand it all to you. But I am going to lead with the question. So we hear a lot about, we read about conscious parenting, we look at the videos, we try to get the scripts, everything. But when it comes to practicing conscious parenting, somehow it doesn't work. I know I came to you with that in the beginning as well. Like, I'm doing everything right, then why am I still yelling at my kid? And you told me it's about feeling safe in your body. And at that time I didn't understand. So I want you to start with what is feeling safe, and then get down to all the other stuff.
What is feeling safe? For me, feeling safe is threefold. The first component of feeling safe is believing that being present and connected to myself is meaningful. It's going to be rewarding for me. It's going to fill me with purpose and inspiration and joy, not shame and disgust and wanting and repulsion and wanting to get out of who I am and not be who I am. Self-intimacy is rewarding and meaningful. That's the first one. The second is believing that my body is capable of experiencing intense emotion and being able to regulate itself, being attuned to my sympathetic nervous system, which is my mobilization, my fight and my flight. I have the grit when I need it. I have the energy when I need it. And then also having attunement with my parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest. So believing and experiencing that my body and my nervous system is predictable, reliable, something I can trust. The third component of safety is psychological, and it is a belief that I am worthy and deserving of being known, of being seen, of being heard, that I deserve to be understood. I make sense. I have a role and a purpose in this lifetime. So it is, self-intimacy is rewarding and meaningful, and it will fulfill these deep longings. It's a trust and a belief in my body's physiological mechanisms, and it's a belief that I am worthy and deserving of being known. And it's not something that we intellectualize. It's not cognitive. It's a head, hands, heart, soul, spirit, essence experience. And we come to that safety through attachment with our primary caregiver in the womb and in the first 10 months of life. spanned out into the first 3, 7, 11, 25 years of life. And how we have most of us, I'd say about 95 to 99.9% of us, although studies are showing that 60% of us have a secure attachment. I don't know what kind of study those people are studying, because 100% of the people that I talk to are not in safety and security on the inside. And I am not always either, but I am aware of when I am slipping into insecurity. So if we were met by a caregiver who was self-connected, self-accepting, unconditionally self-loving of who they are, and they met us and mirrored that into our nervous system, into our brain, then that first pillar was met. Connection and intimacy is meaningful, purposeful, and rewarding. If we were met by a caregiver who knew how to regulate their emotions, who knew when their blood was being pumped with cortisol and adrenaline, and who knew how to bring themselves and find their calm, and then they met us when we were being pumped with cortisol and adrenaline because our nervous systems and our brains were completely immature and underdeveloped, and we were a hot mess. Kids are kind of hot messes all the time, a little bit. And if we were met with co-regulation, then we came to security of the second pillar. I believe that feelings and emotions are temporary. A lot of clients, when we are overcome with emotion, we believe that that's how it's going to be forever. And when we see our kid overcome with emotion, we fear that they're going to be like that forever. And then both people think that they're dying. It's very, very bad. It's not helpful at all. I know that very well. And if we were met in the first 10 months of life with a longing to really to be understood, like, Sidra, who are you? This baby in my arms looking in their eyes like, you are this sacred gift, this mystery. I long to know you, and I vow that I'm going to follow your lead. I'm not going to make you somebody that I need you to be for me to feel good. I'm going to let you be who you are, authenticity. If that's how we were met, then our third pillar of security was cared for. Most of us did not have any of those things.
And that leads me, I have so many words. I could share my story with you here. Like, I have been through all of that with you, and I've come to the other side, and I still go back and forth and back and forth. But coming to like the people who are watching here and we're thinking about, okay, so that is what safety means. But when it comes to my kids, why is the fight, flight, response? How is that activated in that moment with my kid? Like, what is my attachment with my caregiver got to do with my child right now?
Sure.
What is the link there?
There's so many links. So we have something called neuroception, which is like we're covered in these nerves that are on the lookout at all times for safety and danger. It's like a lighthouse being, it's like looking out at sea and seeing, is it safe or is it dangerous? That's always happening. It's completely unconscious when we're awake and when we're sleeping. That's what we do as humans. Safe, dangerous. 2 options. And most of us have a faulty neuroception filter. So we don't have a strong and a, what's the word where it's like it's interpreting correctly? I don't know, the word where it's interpreting correctly. It's faulty is what I'm just trying to say here. So when we see our children with big feelings and big emotions, in our body, in our nervous system, in our brain, and everything that is alive in us, it's saying danger. Because it is firing our amygdala, it is firing our fight or flight responses. Because for us, emotion and feeling equals danger, equals disconnection, separation. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get hit, humiliated, shamed, disconnected from, locked in a room, who knows what. So this is happening very, very unconsciously. We don't even realize that it's happening. And then our children mirror us and we get really lost. We're all really, really lost and confused and lacking the understanding of what is happening, which makes us feel even more in danger because we don't understand. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. That makes complete sense. And it makes complete sense because when you're in that moment, you see that. You see your children mirroring you. You see that they get more dysregulated, the more dysregulated you become. And then we come down to like, let's talk a little bit about the polyvagal theory. Let's talk about what we can do to calm ourselves down. Let's talk about how we can enter into safety and security and secure attachment with ourselves. And then how we can heal if we have been through insecure attachment with our caregiver. How can we move forward from that? Is that possible?
Absolutely possible. It's the most exciting thing out there in parenting right now. And Daniel Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson just wrote a book, The Power of Showing Up, and it's all about how to earn a secure attachment. So I did not have a secure attachment. I was not raised with inner safety, trusting in my body, a belief that I'm worthy of being known, seen, and understood. Hell no. Can I cuss here? I did.
Yes. And anybody who's watching who thinks that they've actually been brought up with that, give me a show of hands or say no. Let me know.
Yeah, very curious about that. I've met a couple rare birds out there who are like, I was raised by an incredible person and I am secure. And they are a different kind of person. They don't have the same parenting struggles. They have children who struggle because children are hot messes. And I say that with love. They're just like ridiculous. But the parents aren't falling into desperation. But anyway, so how can we earn a secure attachment? So Daniel and Tina are inviting us all to see 3 ways of creating a secure attachment. And this is connected to polyvagal theory and the vagus nerve and all that good stuff. So the first is cultivating inner safety. And for us to be able to do that, we need to know when we are faultily perceiving danger. So we need to feel our bodies, learning how to feel our bodies. And I teach something called the nervous system thermometer. So we all have a thermometer and we all have cues from our body of when neuroception is translating danger. For me, as I start to get kind of shaky. I start to get a little anxious and my eyes start to move really quickly. My thoughts start to spin. That's how I know that my body is going into fight or flight. I don't feel stressed or overwhelmed, but it's starting at a really micro level. And I'm able to say to myself, I'm having a nervous system response. My body is perceiving danger and threat. That's not happening. That's not actually real. And a lot of us struggle with being able to catch ourselves with faulty neuroception because we've gone our whole lifetime of not being perceived and understood correctly. So if we try to tell our bodies, no, that's not real, at this weird unconscious level, we're almost gaslighting ourselves. We're almost like, no, you're making that up. That's not real. So it takes a level of trust and practice that I am aware enough to know when I am misconceiving my experience. My perception is not accurate. And I tell my body, you're having a nervous system response. It's a very normal thing in our family. Nervous system response, I got to take care of myself before I get to a level 10. So you know about this, Sidra. You've learned about sensory calming tools. So in the polyvagal theory, there's a ladder. And we want to be at the top of the ladder, which is the ventral vagal state, which is safety. The ventral vagal is having equilibrium between our fight and flight, rest and digest. And if you know about brain science, it's when the prefrontal cortex is online. So you're in a state of expansion, trust, possibility, imagination, joy, inner peace, empathy, compassion, curiosity, play. We're wanting to get ourselves here. But when we are perceiving threat and danger, maybe our child's tone, our child's body language, our child is saying things to us that remind us of a time when we were a kid when da 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 da. We're going into the fight or flight state. And then there are some of us who have lived in the fight or flight state for so long that we go down even lower. We go into the dorsal vagal response, which is faint and freeze, and you shut down. And a lot of us live in shutdown, or we live in fight or flight. Yeah, not a lot of us live up here. So what we want to do is be able to, by strengthening the vagus nerve, which is it's called the tree of life, this nerve of the queen of nerves that is always communicating to the sensory organs, the nervous system, the brain, the heart, about what is actually true, what is actually happening, and how can we get yourself back to ventral vagal. And this is the fun part, because the best way of strengthening the vagus nerve is singing. It's singing. And if you know me, I am always singing. I'm always singing. And it's strengthening the vocal cords. It's being able to bring that nerve back into tone. A lot of us have very poor vagal tone because we were not met with regulation. We've been living in chronic fight, flight, freeze, etc. So sensory calming tools. We want to support the vagus nerve, bring the parasympathetic nervous system back, get us into ventral vagal. There's all kinds of amazing resources out there. Thriving Littles on Instagram. I don't remember her name, but she has awesome resources for sensory processing tools. And some kids, my son needs skin to skin contact. So he's 3.5 and he rages like he is a titan and a warrior and like a ninja turtle and like a saber-toothed tiger rolled into one. So he hits, he kicks, he scratches, he bites, he throws, like he rages. I'm so thankful for this child because now I get to talk to parents and they're like, my kid hits me. And I'm like, oh, I know all about that. I'm not afraid of this conversation at all. So we must know, you must know your sensory calming tool. That is your mission on this planet. You gotta know which way you are soothed. What you probably don't know, because most of our caregivers didn't know theirs and they didn't know how to attune to us. So it's an exploration process. Does it feel good for you to go like this when you're stressed? Does it feel good to play with your hair and get oxytocin going? Do you need to put your hands under cold water? Do you need to go outside and do some jumping jacks? Do you need to lay in a dark room and listen to soothing music? And my son needs a sensory deprivation. Lights off, the fan on for white noise. He needs his shirt off. He needs my shirt off. He needs skin to skin. So a great way to think about what your kid needs is, how were they best soothed when they were an infant? It's probably still the same thing. So if they liked being swaddled, how can you wrap them in an embrace? If they like being rocked, how can you get a sensory swing or get something that they can get that rocking motion, etc. I'm rambling, Sidrat, stop me.
No. I love this, but I was going to stop you because you do have a curfew and you need to go. And I want to stop you to ask about, you know, we're talking about a lot of things, and a lot of people watching this are feeling like, oh no, I need to do this. My child is growing up. I'm failing my kid. I need to show up better. And I want to bring in something that you taught in one of your circles and talk a little bit about that. And that is called the place of permission. So, people who are feeling like shame and guilt and they're overwhelmed with that, listening to this, what comfort can you give them with place of permission?
Yeah, so the pace of permission is something I was taught by my mentor, Krista Arias. And it is allowing yourself to only go as fast as the slowest part of you feels safe. And it's pretty radical, revolutionary, and counterintuitive to most of us who have been pushed past our pace of permission our whole life. Oh, he's not crawling. He needs to crawl. Oh, they're not walking yet. How do we figure out how to make them walk? They're not talking. They're not reading. They're not writing. They're not blah, blah, blah. There's been fear. Our entire timeline has been filled with fear and urgency. And it's an incredible deconditioning and a gift to give ourselves to slow down to our pace. So trauma is too much, too fast, too soon. And what we're not wanting to do is re-traumatize ourselves on this healing path. So my gift and my reassurance to you, if you're someone who's like, oh shit, like I can't do any of those things. I wasn't any of that, and I freak out and I can't control my emotions. I have no idea what my nervous system is doing. I don't feel safe in my body. I think it's really being able to come to terms with that and to grieve it in whatever way you do, and to communicate it to your children. Even if they're a baby, let them know, I'm just now learning the skills that I deserved to have had since I was a child. I regret how this is impacting you. I'm heartbroken that I am not where I long to be. And we're modeling to our children that you can't rush the process. I know I've taught this to you, and I teach this to many people. And I use this analogy where, let's say we hate our body, so we want to exercise. And we get on the treadmill and we're running and we're doing the exercise, but we're doing it from self-hate. And we're doing it from disgust. So while your body might be changing, you're going to be a fit, trim body who hates themselves. And that's not what this is. You are not becoming a perfect parent who can regulate, hold space, have verbal affirmation and validation for your kids' emotions from a sense of hate and shame and not enoughness. My whole work, my mission for parents is to be okay, unconditionally love and accept yourself for where you are, even though it hurts. And you see how it's impacting your child. That's the only way we're going to progress. I'm done.
I know. You have given me so many gifts in this 1 year. I've known you 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah. And there have been so many gifts that you've showered me. But one of the biggest was when we were partying and I was talking about, you know what, I'm going back and forth and I'm going back to my old cycles. And you were like, just tell your daughter that. Tell her how you're feeling about all of this. You're never going to be perfect, but she needs to know that. She needs to know that what you're going through.
Yeah.
So gift one was always, love yourself, know that you're worthy, and place of permission. And then finally, just be honest to your kids, and that creates secure attachment, because then they can trust us and they can know that it's okay to feel what you're feeling. And I know that you're in a hurry, but I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this are going to be inspired to come to you, to want to talk to you. Where can they find you, and how can they get in touch?
Yeah, so I have a website. It is motherhoodonearth.com, and we are in a really exciting expansion place right now. My partner, I have a business partner, Sam McFinn. She and I have been hosting primarily women motherhood circles, and we're expanding our range and moving into hosting mom, dad, co-parent, any pre-parent in a 12-week program that's all about nervous system science, attachment science, brain science, wow, amazing things. So you can find that at motherhoodonearth.com. And I got like an Instagram and a Facebook and all that kind of stuff.
I'm sure many people are going to come your way after watching this because you're just a treasure trove of knowledge. And anybody who wants to get in touch with me, I've walked these lands with Rebecca. I've been through the mud and come out somehow.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I have a whole story that I could have told in the half hour here, and it's all because of you. But anybody who wants to get in touch with me can get in touch with me on my page, Elasticity of Momming. If you're watching this on Facebook, please leave a comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel and share this with your friends and family. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for being here. Any parting words? You have 3 minutes.
I would like to say that there's nothing but hope for you as a parent. And to soften the narrative that's out there on the internet around parenting, conscious parenting, peaceful parenting, and to really trust your process that you're on and to trust your child and to not suffer in silence and isolation. I was a part of a community, Sidra and I are a part of a community, and we need each other to make these shifts and to create a better world for ourselves and our children and our grandchildren. So please believe, even if it's just for a moment, that you are worthy of being known and supported and loved and encouraged, and you are capable of making changes. And I love you, and I love your children, even though I don't know them. I love them anyway.
I love you. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for those lovely words. Thank you, people, for watching. Alan, Adrienne, thank you so much. I will see you again next week with another beautiful topic and another beautiful coach. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.